This is Fox 25 News at 10.
Game over, series over, and the Red Sox are world champions.
3 years instead of 86, but still just as sweet.
The party just starting. The Sox sweeping the team they call Destiny's Darling. World Series champions are your Boston Red Sox. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Ockerblum.
And I'm Maria Stefanos. Does not get any better than this. It just does not. For the second time in 3 years, Red Sox Nation takes to and dances in the streets. Butch Stearns is live on the field where we are now the World Series champions again, Butch.
It's unbelievable, Maria, and the scene behind me, we have two cameras here on the field so you can switch back and forth between them. There are at least 5,000 or 6,000 fans left inside here. Some of them are Rockies fans, but almost all of them are Red Sox fans. They're chanting Bobby, Kelty. They're chanting no more towels. They are into this. The Rockies are letting them stay out here. The players have yet to come on the field from the locker room. We'll have that for you when they do. It is a wild scene here. This is the 5th championship in Boston in the last 7 years, counting the Patriots' 3 Super Bowls. Think about that. 5 championships in 7 years. The scene in the locker room was even crazier as they're celebrating with champagne. Mike Lowell, of course, is the MVP. The Wheaties boxes are out. The Red Sox, keep in mind now, the Red Sox are not coming home tonight. Don't go rushing to Logan Airport. They're going to stay here in Colorado tonight. They're going to leave at about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning on their charters. And the reason for that is baseball players on getaway days are always running from town to town, but their season is over now, and a lot of their families are here, and some of those families aren't going back to Boston. So the Red Sox have made the decision to stay overnight here, let the players and the organization celebrate with their families, which I think is a great idea. We're going to be here all night to cover it for you.
Butch, thank you very much. We'll be back in touch with you in just a moment. But right now, I want to check on the fans. Of course, they've been out celebrating not only in Colorado, but, of course, in the streets back here at home. Take a look from Skyfox for yourself. Kenmore Square, that's where we find our Ted Daniel. Ted?
Well, I am in the safe zone of Kenmore Square, guys, where the police have actually moved people out of this area during the 6th inning. But people are on both sides of Beacon Street, as you may be able to see from that helicopter shot, partying it up tonight. There are hundreds and hundreds of these fans and hundreds of police officers who are out in force, just trying to make sure everything stays under control. Obviously, everyone very excited, and for good reason. The Sox did it again with another World Series here. It's an all hands-on-deck situation with Boston police tonight. Motorcycle, dog teams, bikes, horse patrol, you name it. They are out there, and they are trying to do their best just to make sure that things stay under control. You saw some of the brooms there, the folks bringing out the brooms, signifying this fantastic sweep that we had tonight. But so far, so good. A lot of rowdy fans. We've seen some fireworks. We've seen some hooting and hollering. But after all, this is a World Series win, a big night here in Boston. Back to you guys.
All right, Ted, thank you very much. Skyfox right now in that Kenmore Square area where you see the pretty big police presence out there. We can tell you that the inbound Kenmore T-stop is closed right now because they don't want people going down to Fenway at this point. And this is what we saw back in 2004, people coming down. They like to go to the place where it happened all year long, and they like to come down and celebrate. But you can see from these pictures from Skyfox, things getting a little bit rowdy there.
Plenty of police presence, as we've talked about time and time again during these postseason runs. The police are very aware of what's going on down here and trying to make sure it's a safe celebration for everybody. And, of course, they're celebrating in part because of the exploits of Mike Lowell, now a free agent, now the MVP of the World Series for 2007. With more on that, let's go upstairs. Ryan Aselta. Ryan?
Yeah, guys, if there was one guy who could have picked the MVP of the season from start to finish, it was Mike Lowell. He was the one steady player on this team all season long, 120 RBIs. Anytime Big Poppy, Manny, they struggled, Lowell was consistent all year, and he did it throughout the postseason. He hits well over 300 in the postseason, 15 RBIs in the playoffs. In the World Series, he hits 400, 4 RBIs, a big home run tonight in Game 4. Remember, he had the game-winning RBI in Game 2 that doubled down the left field line at Fenway Park. This is a guy who reeks of class, of character. He is what this whole team is all about, and he is your World Series MVP. Just a couple minutes ago, he took to the podium. Here's what he had to say.
You know, I'm on cloud 9. You know, it's unbelievable. I think in '03, no one expected us to do anything, so we were kind of beating the odds each time, but I think it's a little different when, from the onset, a lot of people expect you to win a world championship, and if you don't, it's a disappointing year. So for us to come through and do what we thought we were capable of doing is unbelievable. We got a lot of people to give credit to.
Deserves a lot of that credit. Let's head up to Butch Stearns. He's out in Denver. He's got Bobby Kilty, game-winning RBI in Game 4 tonight. Butch?
How about this? With the Oakland A's to start the season, traded to the Red Sox. Oh, by the way, you hit the game-winning home run in the World Series.
It's crazy how the game works, you know, being where I was and how it ended up and getting on a team, being the best team in the big leagues, and have a moment like that. I couldn't ask for a better moment. I mean, that's something that you dream about in backyard baseball and wiffle ball and little league and, you know, all the way up college. Everything that you dream about doing ended up happening tonight.
Talk about the home run, because here you are, you come up in a situation, you don't know when you're going to get your opportunities. It's been your plight all year with this team. You get an opportunity. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's crazy. We were talking about it, and I was just like, man, I just want one at bat in the World Series, and I felt like, you know, if I'm going to get up there, there's no doubt about I'm swinging. I'm not going up there to take pitches. I'm going up there to hack and see what happens. And I ended up getting up there. He threw a fastball a little bit up, and I was extremely aggressive, and he ended up putting good wood on the ball.
Well, you've had some unbelievable moments here today. I'm going to let you enjoy another one. How about a Bobby Kilty? Bobby Kilty! Bobby, congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Congratulations, all right.
All right, that was Butch Stearns with Bobby Kelty making that the number 4 magic number tonight.
Exactly
magic
right.
number.
4
All right,
runs.
so let's, you're looking at these pictures from Sky Fox. Fox 25's Doug Meehan is up there in the chopper. What do you see, Doug? Getting kind of crazy out there.
Yeah, you're right, Maria. It's interesting. You know, for a while there, most of the crowd was just out dancing, having a good time, and all of a sudden, you know, they start just getting a little too carried away, and it just becomes a little bit more than just a celebration of the Red Sox win. They've got the horse teams and lines of police. This is just on the opposite side of Fenway Park. I'll just pull out and give you a sense of reference here. There's the park all darkened, obviously, with no game going on. And out in front of the park, there's just a sporadic groups of folks, and you can see they just take the line of police officers and just work their way down the roads to clear the groups off. Right now, there's only several areas where well, I guess the revelers are gathering, and so they've kept them pretty far out of Kenmore Square. But this is Beacon Street right here, just to the west of Kenmore Square. There's a lot of brooms out. There's a lot of mosh pitting, I guess, out here as well. There was a instant jubilation with them jumping in the air and dancing in the streets when that final pitch took place and the final out. We did see some fireworks being lit from the streets, but as you can see, for the most part, I'll give you an example. There's Kenmore Square itself. Kenmore Square right now is empty, all right, and most of the activity are just in isolated groups around the park. As a matter of fact, this group in particular here that was in front of Fenway have just about been dispersed altogether. You can see how some of the lines of police officers are working down the street. So there's really just about 2 different groups that are still pretty large in nature, and we'll just see how they handle them as they get going. Mark and Maria, back to you guys in the studios.
All right, Doug, thank you very much from high above in Sky Fox, giving you an idea of the celebration taking place in Boston. And of course, there's a huge celebration underway right now in Colorado and Denver. Red Sox victorious 4-3, Game 4 in a 4-game sweep of the World Series. And of course, Terry Francona, a guy who is awaiting a contract extension. Can they just get him to sign this? Because he's 8-0 in World Series play.
World Series play.
Need I say more? Terry Francona now on this big win.
So proud of John Lester. There's so many things to talk about with John, but the way he pitched, the way he composed himself, the way he competed, thought it was very appropriate that he got the win.
How does it feel to win a title without having to talk about the curse? That's all done. I mean, for 80 years, the team couldn't win one, and now you've won 2 in 4 years.
I don't know that that was ever a big deal to us. Maybe a long time ago. But when our organization started adding pitching, the curse kind of went away.
Here 2007, Boston Red Sox, of course, are World Series champions. It's worth repeating again. Taking a look at Sky Fox and, of course, the police presence, as Doug had alluded to earlier, starting to make its presence felt, moving in among the crowd of fans, making sure everybody's in line. You can see some of the horse patrols there.
Right, and here's the deal, that most, and there's Josh Beckett right there. There at Kenmore Square, that it's not Kenmore Square right now.
It's the streets in the area.
And we also hear that there's some problems at Boylston and Ipswich as well. But, you know, let's look at Colorado. Let's look at Josh Beckett. Fans are celebrating there as well. And they said throughout the whole game, you could see fans in the stands just, you know, throwing their brooms around. Right. They're trying to out-shout the Colorado Rocky fans. And I bet we did pretty well, that's for sure.
Red Sox know a thing or two about celebrating, that's for sure. They do it well.
We do now.
They've had plenty of practice this postseason.
It's taken a while,
you know,
but it's pretty nice.
From getting into the playoffs, the division series, the ALCS, of course, coming back against the Indians, they get into the World Series, and another champagne shower for them tonight. They're having a great time going out on the field now with the trophy, as they often do. They'll probably go out to the pitcher's mound, get a group shot with the MVP trophy, and also the trophy there for winning the World Series as well, the Commissioner's Trophy. Well, clinching the World Series title in Denver tonight, the Red Sox have now become the 20th out of 23 teams that took a 3-0 lead in a best-of-7 World Series and went on to complete a sweep. The Sox improving their perfect record in World Series play. They haven't lost a World Series game 7 since the 1986 Fall Classic, of course.
And you can see, again, this is probably in the Beacon Street area. Obviously, police out there and people falling down and police trying to make some arrests there. We saw some people, you know, sort of going after the horses as well. So definitely becoming a little bit more of a chaotic scene down in the Beacon Street area. It's so interesting. They were very successful in keeping people out of Kenmore Square, which is usually where all of these hundreds and sometimes thousands of people usually descend. And we saw them before, prior to this, and they were certainly celebrating. Look, we still hadn't won this game, and they were jumping up and down and already celebrating. So you knew that things were going to get a little hairy, perhaps.
But we also know that the celebration continues out in Colorado. Here you take a look at the field right now. Of course, there were so many highlights in this ball game, and indeed throughout the entire series if you're a Red Sox fan, because Colorado never came back to win one.
No, they didn't.
The hottest team going in, the coolest going out.
Coolest going out. Hottest going out, too. Ryan Asalta with some great highlights from tonight. I bit my nails a whole bunch of times, Ryan.
Sure did.
Yeah, guys, this might have a different feel than it did back in 2004, but I tell you what, it still feels darn good, doesn't it? You know, the Sox waited 86 years for a World Series title back in 04. Now they've got 2 and 4 seasons, and I think we better start pinching ourselves around here. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from a great night in Game 4. Jacoby Ellsbury, he was the hero in Game 3, and he got things going right off the start tonight. He led the game off with a double, and then just 2 batters later, Big Papi brings him in, and that's how this offense gets going. 1-0 Red Sox. Something special about having John Lester on the mound. Just about a year removed from undergoing cancer treatment. Tonight, he gives the Red Sox 5 2/3 innings of solid work, 3 hits allowed while striking out 3. What a great story for him. In the 5th, after a Mike Lowell double, the captain, Jason Varitek, knocks him in with the RBI single. That put the Red Sox up 2-0. In your 7th inning, look at this series MVP right there. Look at the hustle out of Lowell. And he comes up big in the 7th, putting an exclamation point on a terrific season. A solo home run to left. Lowell goes 6 for 14 in the World Series, and that is why he is your series MVP. Sox got out of a jam at the bottom of the 7th, and then the 8th, a little bit of insurance, and it would turn out to be huge. Bobby Kilty pinch hitting a solo home run, made it a 4-1 ball game at the time. The Red Sox loving every minute, and they knew that run would be very important. In the 8th, things got a little bit hairy. Garrett Atkins came up against Hideki Okajima with a man on, and he is going deep to left. And that's what I started to think, this really ain't happening. Is it a 4-3 ball game at that point? Jamie Carroll would then pitch hit in the 8th inning against Jonathan Papelbon. The shot to left, everyone holding their collective breath, but the kid, Jacoby Ellsbury, what a stud this kid is. The sweet grab and left, and that set the stage for Papelbon with 2 outs and 2 strikes.
Game over, series over, and the Red Sox are world champs again.
Celebrations on. The Sox put their 2nd World Series title in 4 years. This, guys, is the 7th World Series title in franchise history for the Red Sox. Quick side note, kind of amazing note, 2 cancer survivors really involved in tonight's win. John Lester gets the win in Game 4, and Mike Lowell was your World Series MVP. He's also a cancer survivor. What a great side story to really a special season for the Red Sox this season. You look at Mike Timlin right there celebrating. Is he done? Is this his final year with the Red Sox? He's celebrating. He's been there a couple times with this team. Great video on the field. Tons of fans still standing by. And guys, quite a scene down there in Denver. This is great stuff. Start pitching yourself, guys. 2 and 4 years. Come on, I'm not used to this.
We are getting spoiled, that's for sure.
I'll be spoiled. That's fine with me. All right, let's go back down to Sky Fox there, or rather up to Sky Fox. And a lot of areas here, as we told you before, Kenmore Square is closed off, but we have witnessed a number of arrests being made. Boylston and Ipswich Street seems to be the place where the police are really descending upon because there are so many people there. At this point, we can officially tell you that there have been 2 arrests. Now, just for a little bit of perspective, that for the ALCS, they had. Okay, let's just go right out to Butch Stearns and Mr. Papelbon. Butchie.
Give me a second. Okay, check 1, 2. You got me? You got me? Okay, here we go. All right, I'm here with Jonathan Papelbon. How about this crowd, first of all?
Yeah, you know, it's pretty amazing.
No. Turn around and soak it in a little bit. Come on.
You know, it's so surreal, and you know, our fans are the ones that really, you know, give us the juice to come out here, and we feed off of them, and there's no doubt about it.
3 saves of more than an inning. I mean, it's pretty special in the World Series.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You know, when I went out there, you know, I just went out there and did my job and did what I knew I could do, and that's it. You know.
The crowd's calling for you to dance, but I heard you say back in Boston,
yeah,
so we're not going to get a dance tonight?
No, we're going to party back in Boston, man.
Right?
Yeah.
So we'll have the next dance back in Boston?
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it.
Will it be something extra special compared to what we've seen?
Oh,
really?
yeah, we're going to
Where do you go from here?
I don't know, man, but we're going to figure it out.
Congrats, Pap.
All right, man.
All right. Give him the Papelbon. All right, there's Jonathan Papelbon. He's obviously a very popular man. You heard it right here. The dance is going to be back in Boston. Not going to be a dance here in Denver, okay?
The Papelbon has taken off, that's for sure. 4 saves for Jonathan Papelbon in this postseason. Got the job done again tonight. Boston police trying to get the job done around the Kenmore Square area. Not actually in that area, but it's some adjacent areas. We're told Boylston and Ipswich. Several arrests have been made. Some of the crowd getting out of hand. Police stepping in quickly. And you can see where they're going with some of the people right now, taking them away, trying to get them out of the situation. Make sure it's a safe celebration for everyone involved.
You know, like I was saying before, for perspective, for the ALCS, for the clinching game, they had about 1,000 cops on the streets there. We're assuming that they have just about 1,000 out there right now as well. On a normal night for the Red Sox, a couple hundred.
That's right.
At the most. But certainly they need to bring this presence in because we saw what happened in 2004, and they're beefing things up there and making sure that things don't get out of control.
Also the ALCS, a lot of those police were embedded. They were brought in from other cities.
Sure.
So you didn't really see it, but you're seeing a much more visible presence tonight, and that certainly is something that the Boston Police Department wants to get across to the revelers out there in the Fenway Park area. And among them, our own Allison Bologna, standing by with more. Allison?
Well, the Sox swept the series, and Boston fans out here say they expected nothing less. Now the celebrations begin. Fans out here in Boston say they are thrilled to welcome their team back home with their 2nd World Series trophy in just 3 years.
They won, they swept. Did you expect anything else?
Oh, we knew it from day one. From the beginning of the season, we knew we had it. Then the playoffs came. They went winless through the National. We knew it was going to happen. It was over.
How does it feel to be a Red Sox fan tonight?
Oh, it's the best feeling in the world. We won. Yeah!
How does it feel to be a Red Sox fan tonight? It's amazing! I love it! Nice sweep! Go Red Sox!
All right, so that was right after